The rate at which technology is advancing at is far quicker than the growth of us human beings. There are several consequences resulting from this, such as technology addiction. The web is time consuming, and constant use of it can lead to social isolation. The things that will be talked about is internet addiction and what it is, different types of online networks obsession slash to use of technology, and solutions to this disorder. Internet addiction is a serious concern. Many countries such as China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Australia, India, and Italy have deemed it as an issue. Also, the United States just recently funded money into research about this problem. The research will be conducted on the adolescent age group, 13 to 18-year-olds, because nearly 60% of parents think their child is addicted to their smartphone and the internet. In a graph published by Statista, it shows the age group between 18 to 25 uses their smartphone the most. So it seems younger people use their smartphone or mobile device the most out of people. People are also affected by their internet addiction, so they don't have a social life, job, or family anymore. Article, it stated that people had ruined relationships and some had dropped out of college because of their internet addiction. Internet addiction can take over some people's lives and also ruin other people's lives. Symptoms of IAD, internet addiction disorder, can include compulsive checking of text messages, frequent changing of Facebook status, and uploading of selfies, a feeling of euphoria while on the web, social withdrawal, loss of interest in activities that don't involve a computer, phone, or gadget, feelings of restlessness while unable to go online, are some of the symptoms of internet addiction. Internet addiction is a problem, and there are also different types of this disorder.
It isn't only the internet that attracts people, it's also video games. Video games have attracted many people, most of the audience is boys and not girls. In a Common Sense survey, it showed the average boy played an average of 1 hour of video games, and the average girl had played about 7 minutes on average. Video games are also very serious because when a family had a child who played a lot of video games and his parents took away his Xbox, he ran away and he was found dead 3 weeks later. Another part of internet addiction is smartphone addiction. In a graph that showed how often Americans use their smartphone, in the 18 to 29 age group, 22% of people check their phones every few minutes and 51% said they check their phone a few times every hour. In the 30 to 49 age group, 12% of people check their phones every few minutes and 47% check their phone a few times an hour. The data demonstrate these two groups use their smartphones a lot. In the 50 to 64 age group, 6% of people check their phones every few minutes and 33% check their phone a few times an hour. In the 65 plus age group, 3% check their phone every few minutes and 11% check their phone a few times an hour. In the data, it illustrates that these other two groups don't use their smartphone as much. In the all adults category, 11% check their phone every few minutes and 41% check their phone a few times every hour. This means the younger part of society is using their smartphones the most, and they should be put in check, and the older age groups use their phones less than the younger age groups. Even though internet addiction seems invincible, there's also always an Achilles heel to a concern. Lastly, with every problem, there comes a solution. IAD has many solutions, but we will be talking about clinics specializing in helping people getting rid of their internet addiction. In China, India, Italy, Australia, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, there are clinics specializing in internet addiction therapy. This has made other countries make clinics for treating internet addiction. Most recently doing this is now the United States. The one clinic is called Restart. It is based in Washington, United States. It is a three-phase program that gets rid of internet addiction. There was a person named Charles Brack, who went through this three-stage curriculum. His problem was addiction to video games. He would game for hours on end. He had dropped out of college twice. As he went through life, and he watched his brother succeed and progress through life while he was just there playing video games with nowhere to go. This demonstrates why video game addiction can ruin people's lives. At this point, he was really depressed. He was thinking about suicide, until his parents saw the state of him and found Restart. He had joined this program and went on to live in the Restart campus. In the first stage of Restart, the patient lives with other people who have the same problem as them. The client works with the other patients as a team and do housework, and they all sleep for 9 hours a day. After the patient passes through this stage, they go on to Restart's second stage. In this phase of the curriculum, the patient is moved into an apartment or a house. The only rule being, if they break their balance plan, they get kicked out of the house or apartment. Usually in this stage, they become more independent and start to find a job or return to school. Finally, in the last stage of the curriculum is where they become more independent and start to go into a regular lifestyle. This program worked well for Charles Brack and has gotten a job and is getting his bachelor's degree. He is also reconnecting relationships with his family and overall is doing well right now. Although cognitive therapy works to get rid of internet addiction, there will always be the concern of disorder. Internet addiction will always be a prevalent problem, but it will be lessened if we treat properly. Treating internet addiction is very vital because people's lives have been ruined by their disorder. Advancing the treatment will be a big benefit for those who suffer from internet addiction. Internet addiction has already branched out into mobile devices as well. All these contribute to why internet addiction is horrible.